Greetings and merry met dabblings, welcome back to Robocraft and to Bay 3, where we shall be building the hovering Shenanigans. Yes, it is about time that I actually gave Hovercraft a little bit of love in my Robocraft videos, but the main reason that I haven't been recording any episodes lately is that quite a large amount of changes have been made to the base game. There are mechanics changes that have come in that I wanted to allow a bit of time so that the actual adjustments to the mechanics would settle properly. One of the biggest changes that has come through, and I do want to cover it before we really get down to the business of building anything, is our weapons have changed. We've got a new weapon, the rail cannon, but more importantly, one of the staples has changed quite dramatically. The laser weapons have become SMGs, and I'll show you exactly how that change has affected them, but in a nutshell, all weapons now have unrestricted range. So lasers can really shoot as far as you can see, and even beyond that, really. But rail cannons, obviously, again, the same thing. But as you might imagine from an SMG-style weapon, these things have a very high fire rate, but extremely low accuracy with prolonged burst fire. The rail cannons, however, are pinpoint accurate, take time to charge up, and as the longer you take to charge it up, the more power it's going to have in its shot. But it is absolutely accurate, but fires one shot at a time. So this is more of a sniper weapon. This is a sort of robot equivalent of an Uzi. And we also have, well, a robot equivalent of an SMG, really. We also have plasmas, which really haven't had that much of a change. We've also seen a big change up to armor. I'll give you a quick look at this. Now, I don't know if any of you will remember exactly how much armor our cubes used to have, but as you can see from this, 136 armor on our armor cube level 2 and 50 on our armor cube level 1. That is not a small amount of armor. It used to be somewhere in the range of 20, and this one used to be like 25. There wasn't much of a step up. Now, in addition to there being dozens of different types of armors now, of all sorts of colors, they've added a massive array, a very large palette of armor colors for you to design your perfect death machine with. The armor values themselves have gone up dramatically, making armor not so much something you just use now to make your robot stand out visually. It actually has a use. Components used to have armor ranges in that sort of 100 to 200 sort of range, and not armor cubes. It was very hard to put much armor on. Pretty much any armor cube would melt under the first attack. It's just how much of that damage would be transferred to the cubes behind it was the only difference. Whereas now, you can actually armor a robot to the point that it will deflect some attacks completely. Components have also had a fairly big armor boost. For example, we'll check out the thruster level 4 has got armor 2095. Yeah, you're going to be able to take quite a wallop on that thing, or at least maybe, depending on the level of the weapons, as we've covered that there. We've also got the radar receiver and the, let me go to the cube depot. The radar jammer, I'm not sure if I've covered those in a previous video. I can't remember. I know I didn't build one with these, but the radar receiver can receive radar from your allies' radar, so you'll be able to see the radar contacts that they have as long as you're within range of as long as your ally is within range of your radar receiver. And the radar jammer just kind of makes you drop in and out of visibility. I do think I actually covered those, but it was worth a recap. Now then, if we go to some of our other bays, I just want to cover a few things. Rolling Shenanigans, with all of its many lasers here, is tier 4, which seems reasonable given the amount of guns it has. It's got no particular part here that is very high level, but it does have a lot of weapons, so it's in a fairly high robot ranking. Now, the reason why I'm covering this is that the way that robot ranking works, and thus what tier you're in, has changed as well quite dramatically. And this was another one of the reasons that I wanted to give a little bit of time for the changes to settle, because they were being tweaked quite actively for a little while. Now, if you use a high tier component, that will have such a drastic effect on your overall robot ranking as to pull you up several tiers, even if that's really the only high level component that you have. For example, it's much better illustrated by the eye coming piece, which is now a tier 6 robot. You'll note it has no weapons. Not one single weapon is on this machine. The only functional part to it are the thrusters. But because I have very high level thrusters, they have pulled this whole robot up to tier 6. If I take that off, you notice that's half of a tier. That's taken us down to tier 4. So as you can see, it's going to be very hard now to build robots that exist in tiers where realistically they shouldn't belong. This was, from what I understand, in large part to address some griefing issues that were being noticed in the lower tiers, where someone might make it an extremely simple bot, maybe just 4 hover blades or maybe just 4 wheels and a tiny little cockpit, and then put a massive like tier 6 or 7, maybe even tier 10 death laser on it. Now, the thing with that is going to ruffle stomp any other robot in tier 1. Unless they have equally been cheesing the system and have just come in a robot that is basically just armor, and then you'll just wail a while on it, but it's probably not going to be able to hurt you because it couldn't afford to put any weapons on. So you're not going to be seeing people in tier 1 or tier 2 with weapons that are significantly higher tier than that, because any component, just one of them, is enough to pull you up several tiers, especially in the lower tier sort of bracket. But with those changes now addressed, let's go over to the hovering shenanigans, where we're going to play around a little bit. Now, I've stripped off the hover blades from the I Come In piece, as you may have noticed. And we're going to start by, let's get some cubes. We'll start by building up a basic shape. And then once we've got that basic shape, we'll move on to deciding how we're going to arm it. Now, I've got the rail gun, I've unlocked one of them, and I actually intend to use that, I think. You know what, I know this is gonna burn my brain out really, but I'm gonna make this an asymmetrical design. I think we are going to have our cockpit on the side of the ship. I think that's going to be grand. At this point, I'm quite fond of making interesting shaped vehicles more than trying to just hash out the same thing over and over again, but more efficiently. Now, I think with hovers, we're going to want to protect them. Though that said, let's have a quick look at how heavily armored they are. 582 armor on that, and 271. Actually, we may not need to protect them too much. Let's see. If we have a bit of a guard for the hover at the front here, and then place these in. We'll start with the hover blade 2s. In fact, let's have these maybe positioned there. And let's go back, grab these. Must remember to middle click. And like so. And we'll just bring these out and then have the hover blades on the inside. Like this. There we go. That will be our platform. But perhaps I'll tuck that in just a little bit more. I don't like them sticking out too much. There we are. Now then, we'll just make the shape basic and blocky to start with, and then we'll refine the shape with curved blocks. I do quite like having curved blocks on it. I think we'll probably have little domes above our hover blades. These ones will be smaller because it's protected by the belly of the craft. There we are. Now, we need our cockpit, so that's, or our pilot seat, I should say. Let's place that about there will do. Get rid of this. We want to bring this out just a tad, I think. And maybe like that. That'll do. Now, on this side, I'm thinking I'll have a... We'll split that down into one, and then have that come out and be a little weapons platform. Though, that said, with this there, that might actually be a bit of a problem. Perhaps instead I should bring these down. I think that might be wise. Let's do this. And then place that about there. Oops, gotta get rid of that one first. Not liking that, but we'll play around with that a little bit more. But for the moment, I'm going to mess around with the basic shape of the craft. I shall bring you back when I have a design that I'm relatively happy with, and then I'll start to refine it with some details, and we'll take it out for a little test spin, see how the weapons work, and I can demonstrate exactly what differences have been implemented for the lasers and the railgun. So I shall see you in a few moments. And welcome back. As you can see, the hovering Shenanigans has gone through quite a few changes actually, and I'm still working on that. I'm not too happy with the way this looks anymore. Let's tighten that in a little bit. Makes quite a difference, I feel, when there's a bit of shape to the front and the back of your craft. Now, one of the problems that I ran into is the asymmetry. With a tank, you can very easily make a tank that is asymmetrical. I see them all the time, in fact. But with anything that isn't firmly anchored to the ground, balance becomes one of the prime concerns, and it's very hard to balance something that's asymmetrical. I've more or less gotten this to work, but I had to use helium in order to do it, and to space out the hover blades a little bit further apart so that there's more sort of hover surface. When they're closer to the middle, it's liable to just flip upside down or just roll in place. Now, I've got the Tier 1S, or it might even be Tier 1. Let me just take that off and check out which one it was. Tier 1S type railgun. Now, we're going to go and have a little play around with this in practice mode, just so you can see how it works. Now, the interesting thing with this weapon is you have to charge it before it can fire. And once charged, you only have a few moments where you can fire it. You can't just keep it charged. It has to fire, otherwise it overloads and then shuts down, and you have to start the whole charge process again. But as you can see, it's got a nice little crosshair system there, much more accurate. And if we zoom in, as you can see there, let's try and take this little guy out in one shot. Ah, damn it. The problem with this hover is it does wobble a little bit in place, so it throws this weapon off specifically quite badly. As you can see, because I'm in motion, the crosshairs are going wider and wider apart constantly. But let's try this one. There we go. We are now more or less stable, so my accuracy is pretty high. And as you can see, the damage on this weapon is phenomenal. Let's try something a little bit further away if we can find something. But that little beeping is just letting me know that it's about to shut down. I'll show that again so you can see the effect that the weapon has. And there we go. It overloads. Not good if you're relying on that shot. Now, with this weapon, it's really important to aim for the driver's seat, because that's all you have to hit in order to take out the craft entirely. Especially if something is coming at you with guns a-blazing, as it was just then. Now, unfortunately, this particular vehicle is fairly flimsy. Let me go and find an AI that will actually shoot at me, and I'll just show you how flimsy it is. No, that's not one that can shoot at me. AI Mr. C. Come here, Mr. C. Damage my vehicle. There we go. Okay, well that is a little bit more extreme than I was expecting. Must have got a lucky hit on the block directly under the pilot seat. But that does show one thing, is that the Tier 1 blocks are still, they can still be taken out fairly easily if you hit the right one. Basically, you only have to hit one of these two blocks in order to completely destroy this vehicle. Now, if we go in and actually have a look at the blocks themselves, this has a armor rating of 50. This weapon, the S-type level 1 submachine gun, has a damage rating of 126. This one has a damage rating of 55. So, as you can see, if you've got this one, it'll still be able to take out one white cube in one shot. This one will be able to burrow through about 2 of them. The rail cannon does 253 damage. I'm fairly certain that would mean it would go through a level 2 armored block. Oh no, it would, oh well actually yes it would, sorry. If we go to the cube depot and check out this one, armored level 4, it would almost go through a level 4 armor block in one hit. The plasmas on the other side, on the other hand, of the same sort of level, S-type level 1, They do 712 damage, but it radiates out from the point of impact. So on the edges of its AoE, it's going to be much, much lower. But right in the middle, it will be able to do staggering amounts of damage. Now, I can quickly show you what the machine guns are like. The lasers, or the level 1 submachine gun now, as they are called. I'll stick one of those on there. And we'll quickly demonstrate how accurate these are. They are quite accurate for the first shot, but after that, they lose accuracy extremely fast. Let's get up into the air a little bit there. Come on, there we go. And I just need to balance out, but it's going to wobble for a little while. Hello. Really, dude? That was very rude. Let's zoom in there. And it looks like we're pinging off our own robot. That's not very clever. But as you can see, you can actually aim fairly well with these. It's just as you can see, one shot there, and you can see how the crosshair is losing accuracy. If I just hold down the fire button, it's all over the place. But I imagine this weapon would benefit enormously from having more guns. So we're going to try that out. You may have already noticed in the design window that this is bordering on tier 2. All I've got is 1 gun and 4 hover blades, and this is already bordering on tier 2. So it is difficult to stay in the lower tiers at this point. I very much doubt I could make any of the bots that I previously made in the lower tiers and stay in the lower tiers with them as I did previously. Now let's stick a couple of these on there, shall we? One there, there. Get rid of you. There. Oh, we can only have 3. That is a shame. Oh well, we'll do that and we'll see how this flies. Again, being a hovercraft, it does not handle a lack of symmetry very well at all. I wouldn't be too surprised if the front dipped down. Oh no. Oh yes, 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 it is, very much so. But once we're up, we should be okay. Now, it's a case of just getting to a position where we can just unleash all of our guns. Unfortunately, we're a little bit too high up. I really am starting to feel that cars have the better time of it, and that is something that the developer has mentioned in a recent live stream, that currently they are still working on cars more than anything else, and that their philosophy is to make sure that the actual tanks feel good, they work well, they're responsive, and the game is fun for ground vehicles, and then they'll start working on improving the air vehicles. In fact, apparently it continues to amaze them how stubbornly people work on air vehicles, given that, in their own words, they're not balanced at all and they're very, very hard to build. So they are continually impressed that people actually manage to build things. But as you can see, this weapon benefits quite a lot from the rapid fire and just having more guns so you can spread those shots around. The inaccuracy becomes much less of a problem when you're just shooting enough bullets, or laser beams as the case may be. Now this robot, as you can imagine, is probably not going to stand up to any real fighting in the ring. But I am curious of one thing. Can I have more than 1 railgun on this vehicle at a time? See, that is an interesting question. You still can't mix your weapons. Previously, there were only plasmas and lasers, and now that there are also railguns, I did try to see whether I could have a railgun and a laser, and you still cannot. It looks like that is going to be par for the course, unfortunately. You're not going to be able to mix your damage types. Let's go ahead and buy another one of these. And that's all I can afford. I've managed to spend all of my money on cubes and hover blades. I did try out for briefly using the S-type at level 2 hover blades. That didn't really fix the problem with needing helium to balance it, unfortunately. So I went back to the lower tier hover blades just to see how that would handle. Now I should be able to have... Can I have one on the front? No. Okay, well, we'll try this. This is not going to work well. These guns seem to be significantly heavier than the other types. But we'll just see. It looks like we can actually equip more than 1 railgun, which is nice. Ooh, that isn't good, though. That is really not good. Come on. Can you make it? Lift up. Lift up. That's right. You can do it. Ah, fantastic. Heroic hover blades. Ah, heroic. Has this got a bit of kickback? I think it might have. But we really need to be absolutely stationary for this weapon to properly work. But it looks like only one at a time is firing. Perhaps it means that I can charge it a bit faster? Or maybe not. Oh, I see. Those two little dots on the bottom are the guns. They charge up in order. So now I've got both of them charged. Okay, and they don't fire simultaneously. That's very interesting. That does put any guns that fire after the first at a slight disadvantage if you're aiming at a moving target, considering how accurate they are. They've got very little tolerance of deviation. Oh, hello, curiosity. I don't like your curiosity, only. I think you need to die. And I can't aim at you, apparently. Let's see if I can do that now. And go for the guns. Oh, wow, bored right through to the pilot seat. Let's try that again. Not quite enough damage there, I don't think. And as we're in motion, I think Leggy just went under us and our hover blades objected. But yes, I think rails are going to be firmly the domain of tanks, because only tanks are going to be able to really stay still long enough to fire them properly. So, for our hovering shenanigans, I think we're going to be going with the lasers. And once we've stuck a few of those on, I'm going to jump into a tier 1 fight and just see how well hovering shenanigans does, I think. Now, how cheeky can I be? Can I fit one level 2? Oh, I can. Only one, though, by the looks of it. Whereas I can have 3 level 1s. That shows you what a difference it makes. There we go. Can I fit another level 1 on there? Oh, I can! Just squeezing it in there. Oh, I fit in 2. Fantastic. Let's go for that, then. That balances the craft out somewhat, I feel. Yes. Now, let's make sure that it actually does float before we jump into a battle and then humiliate ourselves in front of our teammates because we can't get off the starting location. Though with this many lasers, we might be an interesting turret. Right, okay. Looks like we're to go. How accurate can we be? Oh, that actually feels quite satisfying, firing that fast and that many lasers. Even if we're not hitting the bloody thing. No? Yes? Maybe? There we go! Though we're shooting ourselves more than anything else. I think I will be going back to rolling shenanigans in the next video, but for the rest of this one, we're going to be taking out hovering shenanigans, seeing how well this would actually do in a level 1 fight, and also seeing what other people are managing to do in the tier 1. It's been a very long time since I've been in this lower tier, so it'll be interesting to see what the new players are managing to build. Right then, let us jump into a battle. We have got virtually no armor on this ship, and as I remember, it's very, very easy to get into a fight in Tier 1. Everyone is very eager. We've got 1 platoon on our side, 1 platoon on the enemy side. The matchmaking is starting to address that. It's trying to make sure that where there are platoons, that there's a similar number of platoons on each team. There we go. Now I just need to make sure I actually rise slowly because this does not balance too well. Right, let's go this way. Sounds like everyone is using lasers. And like me, the developer who I was watching live stream, Mark, doesn't approve of the whole crazy shooting your guns everywhere when you first start the fight. He can't understand it either. It just gives you away. Don't you understand? There are plasma hunters out there just looking for your laser fire so they can shoot you through the fog of war. Fools. Now, if we encounter anything, we're probably going to die. But still, we'll try and give as good as we get. We may fail in that, but we will die trying at least, instead of hiding back at the base or behind our allies. Now then, are we going to see any enemies? Yes, we are. Fantastic. Looks like he's a plasma fighter. Oh, here we come. Oh, that did not go well, but I'm upside down and I can still fight. Oh, maybe I can't. Okay, well, this is going absolutely terribly. And someone with a railgun sniped me from halfway across the map. Or rather, not that actually far across the map. It was just the other side. He could clearly see me. Damn it, I'm just trying to make myself feel better. Wasn't even sniping at that point. It was putting me out of my misery. But we're going to jump straight back into another battle. I'm not satisfied with this yet. But I feel that really if I wanted to make anything particularly dangerous, trying to fit this into tier 1 is not a good way of doing it. I think that I'm going to have to embrace the higher tiers for anything like a hover or a flyer, simply because they're so much more costly to make. Mostly because you have to balance them so well. And that takes helium, which is a bit of a pricey block. And also you've got to accept certain vulnerabilities that you wouldn't have to as a tank. My lord, this match is taking a long time. Usually much, much faster. There are 238 people online. Get in the battle queue, you rotters. Stop being lazy and hanging out in your hangars. There we go. Just took a little bit of encouragement. Okay, any interesting named robots here? F-27. Oh, I know why I died so quickly last time. My lord. See, it's like a talisman. Brings you good luck. Keeps you safe. If you don't say it, you're doomed. Cursed, in fact. Right, we're going to go with the pack this time and see if that makes any bit of difference. Let me get a little bit more height. Don't want to be that close to the ground. But another advantage with having your guns close to the ground is they can aim at lower... Oh, wow. Good luck there. I would try to prop you back up, but it's remarkably hard with a hover. I haven't got enough thrust, you see, or weight for that matter, because I try to keep it as light as I can. Right, where are our enemies then? Is anyone brave enough to go straight over the bridge? No? Oh wow, well done. Did you just destroy him with your plasma? So looks like you did. I'm impressed. Right, well, I'm not going to hang around here. Let's go. No, 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 no. Jabari, you've got to keep going. Fight. Don't run away, you coward. Oh, this is why you should run away though. Uh-oh, uh-oh. Oh, I'm going to go over the edge. No, I was hoping I would be safe on the side. On the bridge, rather. Oh, wow. How unfortunate. I don't have any weapons. I was knocked off the bridge and then slain. Wow, that was terrible, actually. My goodness. Okay. Right, well, I think we'll try once with the rails. It seems that this flimsy little craft really doesn't do particularly well, or at least not when I'm controlling it anyway. We're going to try hanging back and sniping. This may be hilariously bad, but I'm prepared for such things. Now I'm going to pause the recording here until we actually get into a fight, so I shall see you in a few moments. And welcome back. Good luck, have fun all. Right, let's see if this is going to work any better. This isn't quite as good a map for sniping, I feel, since all the fights seem to happen right in the middle, but we could go down by the ice lake. There's always one or two brave souls who try to skid across the ice with their wheels, and we're a hover, so we're pretty much immune to the main danger here. Plus, with our enormously long range, we should be able to take out any enemies that we catch on the ice. Plus, we've got some allies as well. Most of them are also flying. Oh no, 2 tanks as well. Okay. That's an interesting looking bot there. Looks like a fairly high tier, actually. Radar, a plasma, hovers, and some high tier blocks. Armor blocks there. What about these guys? I wasn't able to catch them, unfortunately. But we shall soon see how well we can do when we're hanging back. I should put some radar on this, really, so I can spot anyone trying to sneak up behind me. Now, it might have been an idea. Ooh, there we are. Let's see if I can get you. No, too late. You're gone. Damn it. But there's someone else over there. Aha, I see you. Through the fog of war. And I think I did a little bit of damage. Not much, though. Okay, we've damaged his flight control. Go for the tank there. Not enough damage there, I feel. And a second shot. Not too bad. Was that one of mine? I think it was. I think I just shot one of my teammates. And you... Oh, damn it. Spotted me. Realized what I was about to do. I'll take a shot over 2 that are bound to miss. Right, let's move up here. I do fancy that the railguns have a bit of kick to them. So you do kind of have to take that into consideration. It's particularly unfortunate with railguns, considering they need to be so still to be accurate. Haha! Clipped your toes! You fool! And I'm not sure how much damage I did there. And unfortunately, bloody hovers sliding down the ice. But our team seems to have done a fair bit of damage to the enemy. Anything over there? Oh no! The enemy are at our base! There's one over there. I'm going to see if I can get onto high ground. And take out the enemy in our base. If I'm able to. Don't think that is an enemy. That is rocks by the looks of it. But someone needs to get back to our base quickly. We're about to lose. There's probably only one or two there. And I'm actually trying to climb whilst going up this hill. That's how terrible this bot is balanced. It couldn't hover. It couldn't maintain the distance between the ground. That was terrible. All right. Anything? No. I'm going to have to get in quite close to engage him as well. I need to get around this. Let's hope I don't flip. Hope I don't flip. No. Success. Right, gotcha. Okay, and 2. No, it looks like I've only got... Oh, he's on the move. I'm not going to be able to do nearly enough damage here. I can take some revenge shots, but that's about it. And again. Well, this bot does actually seem like it might be an alright sniper platform, but the hovering and drifting when you're on an uneven surface, not particularly good. I didn't manage to kill anyone there, did a reasonable amount of damage, and 140 total RP earned is not too bad for a tier 1 fight. But I feel that if we're going to see the hovering shenanigans again, it will be in tier 2, 3, or 4, once I've added some proper armor to it, and probably use the higher tier hover blades. In fact, I'll give you, just before I end the video, I'll show you how much this affects the tier. Putting 4 of these are only level 2s as well. They're L2S types. But this drastically increases the rank of the robot. Pulls us all the way up to tier 3. Now, it was interesting that it has less of an effect as you move through the tier that it's designed for. At the lower points, I mean, it crosses all the way through, halfway through tier 1 to just a little bit into tier 2. Takes us halfway through tier 2, so a little bit slower. Takes us most of the way through tier 2. And finally, just a tiny little bit into tier 3. So there seems to be a curve to how much it'll affect your rank. But this now puts it into tier 3. This tiny, flimsy little bot with 2 very low-level guns. So yeah. Probably, though, we would be able to equip tier 2 or maybe even tier 3 weapons onto this without exiting tier 3. So that might be an option. But in the future videos, I will either be returning to the rolling shenanigans or to a much upgraded hovering shenanigans, and we shall see just what the fights are like in the upper tier, well, the mid tiers, 3s and 4s, I imagine. But until then, and as always, do take care.